The players that don't care about hitting landed dare into anything just go into 2 decks because the dex doesn't matter at that point. But going into 4 decks is pretty important for Axe players in that regard. So here we go. We've got Delta versus Flamethrower. 4 defense, guitars, bow. Ember really just doesn't pick that much. And Java had a little bit of a stint with it at BCX last year. And then committed fully to the spear, which is what he's been successful with as much.
Can never forget the Sandstorm 2 defense Thero.
Jesus. Yeah. I remember. Anyways, that was a very fast stock, actually. Wow. Okay. Delta goes down immediately, under 30 seconds. Flamethrower playing really hot.
Okay, we'll see. I feel like Delta, going to take a little bit to try to learn. Oh, wow, what a read. Oh, no, the weapon throw was sick as well. Going to pick it up.
He went and picked it up, yeah. I was going to see if he's going to go for a recovery right after
That's what I was thinking, too.
Weapon spawn comes in perfectly for Delta. Stomp. Recovery. Goes for the scoop to finish it off. And Flamethrower not only escapes, but does a ton of damage for it as well. And that Stomp there will stop him, but Delta went into orange as a result of that whiff.
But Delta is thinking, I'm Teros. It's fine.
That,
I'm going to get one side light. Oh, tried it right there. Here it is.
There's a down sig.
Half your stock right there.
Oh,
side light, nair, D light.
Over half your stock there. And he went for the landing dare down light, but it was a little late on the trigger. And now hits him with the neutral light, tries to go in forward with the recovery. I think that recovery, man, it's hard for me to gauge what's going to knock out at this point. I'm pretty sure Tero's side sig would not. It would definitely knock out.
1,000,000%. Yeah, down sig would as well, depending on where the hitbox lines up.
Speaking of side sig, though, that comes through. Flamethrower, edgeguard opportunity. Doesn't end up going off stage. Delta makes it back. Weapon throw to break up some of the pressure. And the side sig again. That time will knock out. Flamethrower takes the lead 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, Ember SIGs have just always been so good for so long, It's like...
They're fast.
They're fast. They're fast. They're hard to
And it's got that, deceptive Lucian strength. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
where
especially
it's
Lucian, like a tar down
you're not a strong character, but... Yeah, your SIGs are pretty good.
Because I always think of, Ember neutral SIG similarly to, Koji bow down SIG. Granted, now I feel like Koji's bow down SIG is just, pretty good, whereas before it was objectively
it was the best
phenomenal.
Game. It was the best thing in the game.
Oh, that didn't KO.
It was, in my opinion, it was the best thing in the game for a while. Imagine a hammer stomp where you don't have to follow up.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Falling side air, Flamethrower gets hit by that nair, not knocked out just yet, but Delta's brought this back so well that I think game 1's going to be going over to him unless...
Yeah, you can't get sneezed on here. A neutral light will KO you even from Delta.
Falling Snare, edgeguard opportunity. Are we going to see a crazy... Nope. Gravity cancel down, that means Stomp Snare comes through and Delta takes the game 1. 600 damage. 7 damage shy of 600 damage on Ember. That's a lot. I mean, Flamethrower's doing a great job to survive, but that is, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty... Honestly, that's a lot of damage for Ember to take, but even that
that's a lot of damage for anybody to take.
I mean, fair. Normally, you just kind of think all right, I'm fighting Ember, maybe I'm going to be around the 500 range, maybe 450.
Yeah.
But...
Ooh, and now with Delta adjusting after that game 1, where Flamethrower took a under 30-second first stock, I feel like Delta's just in complete control at this point. I was like, okay, Flamethrower, you were showing a lot of what you had. Double side tick came through, and then Delta just ended up clobbering you. Sidelight Nair comes through. He's holding his ground. Flamethrower's the one being pushed to approach in these situations.
All right, let's see what Flamethrower got here. Catches the landing. Doesn't want to pick up the weapon because I don't think he wanted to give up the advantage he had in that juggle situation. Even though he wasn't ultimately able to find the punish. And great punish from Delta in response to that side sig.
Down sig, grounded splash hitbox. I haven't seen that. Usually when I see Embers go for it, it's off stage because you get that extra range from the arrow. But it actually had more force than I expected. Recovery ends up taking Delta off the top of the stage, and Flamethrower takes the lead once again. Similar game state as the game 1, but Delta ended up taking that one. So let's see if Flamethrower can keep the lead this time.
All right, Delta trying to find a way in here. Flamethrower just trying to extend this lead, manages to dodge some of these punishes. And I feel like with Hammer, wow, that was sick on the spot dodge punish there. Flamethrower really getting a lot of damage here. Wow, catches the landing on the dodge as well.
Oh, Gravity gets a downlight trying to see if Delta would stay in place because Delta has been doing a lot of these instead of dash forward, he moves around in place and then spot dodges in a reaction to a startup move from Flamethrower. And I think Flamethrower was trying to call that out by doing gravity cancel downlight, but Delta ends up jumping through. Down sig doesn't get punished. I wonder if he meant to gravity cancel D-light or landing D-light.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I feel like gravity cancel D-light was probably the option he was maybe going for and just didn't get it out.
Because that landing dare just didn't come through. Either way, Flamethrower still hasn't gone down. Delta can't get a hit, and he just needs one. Sidestick comes through. All right, it's 3 stocks to 1. Delta gonna continue looking for the neutral light, I guess.
He's been really sneaky about finding those side sticks, just like dash landing quickly behind somebody and then side sticking the other way. And like you don't really even get to recognize what happens before there's a side stick on your face.
Flamethrower's survivability is actually something else.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how this is happening.
This is crazy. This is Terros versus Ember. It makes sense to me how the 600 damage taken happened last game. Stomp Sair finally connects 2 minutes in. It's 2 stocks to 1. Now, this game I want to call for Flamethrower, but
I still half your stock, 2 unlights and a side light. You know?
Yeah, and now it's like, okay, he's actually like a Stomp Sair side sig away from being an even game. That's scary. Neutral connects.
Yeah, great read on the jump there. Catches
Second
him
read.
again.
Okay, why not? Go for it once more.
Ooh, the free recovery off of that one. Got the spot dodge. That's going to be at least 3. Nice.
And down to a little bit of a charge on it, too. Flamethrower makes quick work of Delta in game 2. Great adaptation. Man, he took 300 damage and lost a stock.
Yeah. And that final stock was demanding.
He took 300 damage and lost 1 stock as Ember. Wow.
I mean, that's kind of like how it needs to be, right? Like, I feel like when you play a character like this, either your stocks and your defensive movement need to be so good that you're extending stocks like that anyway, or you're just running the other person down so much faster than they're running you down that, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's absolutely how it needs to be. It's just really impressive. Yeah, it's really impressive when I see it. Because it's like, well, let's see what Delta can do about it. Because Delta's, obviously he's getting hits in. The hits just aren't doing anything.
Jeez.
Now that was a, talk about walking Flamethrower off to the side of the stage. That was a ton of neutral light, stomp side light, getting some more stomps there. Flamethrower, dive kick, neutral sig unarmed. All right, fighting back.
Yeah, Flamethrower really just swinging now. Delta just stomping the yard on him, trying to find these anti-airs. But sometimes I feel like that's always been the most awkward part about Hammer gameplay to me. Is like there's a moment in the neutral where you're just sidelighting and stomping, and a lot of times it just feels like they're all Hail Marys. You know? It feels weird sometimes.
And those become a lot less likely to come true when you're fighting bow and everything is ranged.
Yes.
Right? Like I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the bow player to land on me. No, that's not gonna happen.
Because you can't like stuff out bow D-light, you know? And so like you want to stomp it, they come in, you get hit by the splash of the arrow.
Bow down air, it's pretty great too.
Yeah.
And then when you're landing with Nair, it's gonna pick you up before you even touch the ground.
I know.
It's just difficult to actually deal with when you're going for the stomp-heavy playstyle. And Flamethrower did get most of his damage last game with the bow over the Katars. The Katars came in from time to time, but not against the Hammer. Recovery will come through. Delta evens it up. But I still feel like Flamethrower is mostly in control of the set so far. And Delta now switches over to the Axe as a primary. So I wonder if Flamethrower will now be like, okay, Katars this time.
Yeah, looks like that might be the answer. Off the Heezy, picks it back up, goes for the dribble.
No recovery. Doesn't come through.
No dodge yet. Nice.
Oh, dodges out of that downlight just narrowly. Pretty important.
Yeah, and I love going for that string, especially when you're playing a character like Terros. Like, sometimes it's just worth going for the sidelight Nair D-light every single time.
Yeah.
It's rare that you're going to get, like, punished for it harshly. They have to dodge, like,
especially when you're at low damage. It's just like you're going to get that one hit.
Nice.
He puts up the down swing in the same way that he did the previous game. Doesn't get it, but gets the side air here, and was able to watch that to know they couldn't make it back. That was a tough call to make, and one that came from a lot of experience, because anything that he did there risked Delta hitting him on the way back, getting a chase dodge. He makes it through, which is why it's actually sometimes apt to not go for edge guards if you know that you've done enough. Nair hits, not going to knock out, but that one, wow, back
sideways. So
yeah,
like he DI'd almost, you know?
Yeah. That's just what happens when you get hit by the very backswing of Hammer there.
It looks funny.
Goes for pivot neutral signature there, just trying to get some kind of extra credit. Gravity cancel D-light, pivots to end-light, gets the dare afterwards though, and that's what I'm talking about, right? All of Flamethrower's moves are actually just perfectly spaced around the fact that Delta's actually just hoping that he lands on him for a stomp. And he's doing these like cross-up side airs, goes for max range pivot down airs. Now, when he's on the Axe, Katars comes through, hits him with the neutral light and a recovery. Delta, sweating on the way back down, gets hit by D-light and air.
Oh. And this is tough. Delta has not figured out the rhythm yet for when Flamethrower is going to attack. Flamethrower is going for a lot of strings that aren't true, and Delta just eating them because like, why are you going for that? You know?
Yeah. Side sig misses, neutral sig connects, disarms them. One more neutral sig. Any signature from Ember.
Do it again.
You think so? Yeah,
100%.
I think so too.
He doesn't have anything to lose.
Oh, he goes to the down sig.
That's the mix.
And the down sig catches him trying to go under.
That's the mix.
And I'm realizing actually that move is like way better than I thought.
Oh, it's really good.
Well, as I didn't consider how powerful the splash is. I always looked at it as like the reason why you use this is because it goes further off stage. You go for your funny spikes. But actually in this replay we're going to see here that he pivots the charge, knowing where the weapon spawn was coming through and knowing that Delta wanted it, right? And then
Bang.
any other move that Flamethrower goes for there, if it's neutral sig or side sig or whatever, is going to be a move that you start up that you can just go right through, except for the down sig.
Yes.
So.
Because I think there's just like a base level mix-up that happens in every game of Brawlhalla where if you are KO'd by a sig, your brain, this is involuntary, your brain is forced to look out for it. Because you're like, oh, they hit me with this, they're going to try to KO me with this, they're going to do it again. It's just what happens. It's just the natural evolution of you trying to adapt, right? And so then a Yomi layer that happens in every game of Brawlhalla is, are they going to do the same one they hit me with again, thinking that I'm not going to think they're going to do it again? Or are they going to do something different? And he did something different.
And then Flamethrower opening up with a solid start here. Delta hits back. Flamethrower goes for an immediate sidelight, D-light. Delta dodges right through. Sides to connects, and that's going to be enough. Delta now down to 2 stocks.
Nah, he got the sharpshooter.
He's
a
stock away from being on tournament stock here, and Flamethrower could 3-1 Delta, and that would be a surprise to me. Stomp Air comes through, does disarm him, picks up the axe, immediately goes for Dare, and I feel like as much as I was talking up Delta's axe, I feel like he feels pressured to stay on Hammer. But then when he's on Hammer, Flamethrower's just been toying with him the whole time. It's been rough.
It's weird because it'll be like he'll get like stomp sidelight, and then like nothing. But that one sequence made it worth getting hit like the past 6 times.
Yeah.
But then when he's not getting it, it just kind of looks like he's flailing a bit.
2 nairs came in pretty quickly there. Axe picked up, waiting for that weapon spawn. Flamethrower just going in this vertical space with the recoveries. Unarmed nairs coming through. He's waiting as long as possible. And the guitar's finally picked up. And he's done such a good job of matching guitars to axe and bow to hammer. Actually, it's been phenomenal.
Wow.
Delay recovery comes through and he disarms him.
He followed him all the way to the corner to get that. He can't land. He's going to go to the side of the stage. He actually just lands back on the stage and Flamethrower doesn't cover it and also disarms himself. Oh, but he can't get the weapon. It's going to be tough for Delta. Looking for a spawn. It's the opposite side. He's still starved. He's hungry. He's looking. Flamethrower's trying to keep it that way, but Delta gets something. But it's the hammer, and his accuracy with hitting these hammer attacks hasn't been great. So it doesn't even, like, he loses the stock immediately after. I don't think Flamethrower's scared when he picks up that hammer, to be honest.
No, he's not. And in fact, I think he looks at it as like, oh, this is. It's the opposite. He is actually stress-free when he sees the hammer. He's like, oh, good. All you can do is stomp. So I'm just going to hover in this space around you. And hammer doesn't have that anti-air on the ground the same way that axe downlight has, right? And whenever that's happening, he just plays a really good, strong, grounded guitar game. Flamethrower's playstyle and game plan has been working great against Delta. Now Delta's on tournament stock and lights him away. What can he do here? Goes all the way off the stage, tries to edge guard, gets the dare. That could be it. Weapon throw forces the dodge. D-like ground pound, even game. Delta can bring this to a game 5. And that was like I like what I saw there, which was Delta being like, if I don't get this edge guard, I lose the game.
And I'm so happy he went for D-Light ground pound and not just ground pound there, because there's a world where someone just goes for ground pound, and the D-Light gives you the horizontal coverage, right? So like if they go anywhere in this space, I cover it. But the ground pound's actually thinner than the coverage
it is like a way to aim your ground pound.
Yes,
right? It's just like, okay, I could just go for it all here, or I could make sure that it works.
Make sure it hits.
Neutral light does hit. Hits him out of that gravity cancel. Stomp narrowly avoided. And this is where Flamethrower is vulnerable. It's guitars versus the hammer. And that's where Stomp ends up stopping a lot of guitars approaches, I feel like. Flamethrower so far doing a good job with these side airs, but I think he's just waiting for a weapon spawn so they can switch over to the bow. This is close.
Oh, Delta.
Yeah, that recovery does end up finding an opportunity there as Delta stays to the skies. Switches weapons? No! He ends up not being able to pick it up, and Delta takes it away from him.
And I feel like Delta doesn't play, at least in this set.
Oh, the side sig catches him. He sidelights through, and Flamethrower's just like, all right, I see the opportunity. He takes it, and he goes flying.
And see, I'm going to point out something in this replay, because I think it's going to come to something that we were talking about last night.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the final stop.
What's that?
Right.
Well, we start with the side sig there. Second stock comes through.
if I
Which
recall.
one was this? This was the D-Light on arm recovery.
All right,
okay.
so look, he's